Hello and welcome back everyone. This is game number 2 of a best of 3. Good times are coming home. We have, of course, game 2 between these two. Bottom left position, spawning as the red Protoss from Fnatic, it is SaSe. And his opponent, up in the top right, the green Zerg player, representing Team Dignitas, it is Tefel. Oh yeah, good times. Now, Tefel v SaSe. What can we be expecting? Well, probably quite a bit of fun. Game number 1, we saw Tefel go for a big 3-base push with Roach Hydra, and it worked because SaSe was so greedy. He took a ninja expansion down at the bottom right. He went for all of the tech, all of the upgrades, and none of the army. And that meant that Tefel just came out and was like, lol, you have nothing to defend with, boy. I'm gonna crush you. And crush he did. And that's always good. So, this game, I really think SaSe should play it a bit safer. He's going for a gateway expand, and on Yonsu, that makes sense, because this natural is quite a long way away. You can Forge Fast expand it, but then there's rocks at the back, obviously a vulnerability point. But for Tefel, he could realistically go hatch pull. The only downside to that is that these rocks are in position, and those rocks makes it a little bit harder to defend. So we'll probably see a pull hatch again out of him, a very safe opening, and then he's going to want to probably try and get some good scanning information so his third isn't too much later than that of what it could have been. Now, in terms of mid-game, we saw obviously SaSe mid-game, game number 1, go for something that was a little bit risky. He went all of his focus was on economy and on upgrades and tech. And upgrades and tech can kind of be rolled into one. That's where the gas is going. Now, that's great if you get into the late game, because you're going to have a very strong army of very powerful units, well upgraded, and the economy to support high production. In the earlier mid-game though, it leaves you very vulnerable. You don't have anything out to actually defend with. And Tefel exploited that perfectly in game number 1 by going for that massively powerful Roach Hydra push. And it was mainly Hydralisks actually, off of those 3 bases, and he just stomped right through. Now, Tefel, his mid-game, Roach Hydra, still viable. The only thing he's got to be looking out for really is what kind of tech comes down from SaSe. Is it an early Robo Bay? Is it going to be really quick Colossi? Because if it is, then you need to go a bit more Roach heavy for a start rather than so many Hydralisks. And you also need to make sure that you are chucking down your Infestation Pit to get a Hive down and Vipers earlier, or Aspire to get Corruptors out earlier. If you do one of those 2 things, you'll be set. If he sees, however, from SaSe, more Gateway heavy army, a Stargate, Twilight Council, why am I thinking Templar Archives? So a Twilight Council, so Blink or something along those lines, then guess what? That's when he wants to be going a bit more Hydra heavy, because he doesn't have to worry about the Colossi, he doesn't have to worry about the splash anytime soon. Now, he's going to know, even before he came in, when the probe came out, that it's a gateway expand, because there's no expansion here and the pylon's only just been placed. But that leaves open the option for a little bit of Mothership Core harassment. Obviously the Zealot already working away at some drones. Good fight by Tefel, unfortunately won't save that drone. Gonna try and save the Queen as best he can though. Just start a step microing it back. The drone will die, so nice control action there by the Zealot. 2 drone kills for a Zealot obviously is a better trade for SaSe, because he deals an equal amount of damage. In terms of resources, lost 100. Potentially lost on both sides of that. Zealot went down, but more importantly, he stopped some mining from Tefel, and that means that any income that would have come from those drones while they're fighting or in the near future never will occur. That's bad times. Now, the Zealots are going to try and get the kill on the Queen, but a second Queen pops out, meaning that if one goes down, it's not quite as tragic, but another drone will die. If we get 4 drones killed, that'd be amazing, but no, Tefel is going to clean that up very cautious, or not cautiously, but very effectively, and therefore he set himself up pretty solid. 4 drones accidentally go into gas there. I'm sure Tefel will notice that fairly quickly. You know what, Forge to the front and a gateway. So that Forge just means that there isn't going to be a big follow-up push to this. There's only the 1 gate at the moment. Not like it's delayed 4-gate pressure or anything like that. Interestingly, from Tefel's Overlord positioning, he can't see this, but he doesn't have much other choice. There's nowhere safe you can put an Overlord where you can see vision of what your opponent's doing down the front. The other interesting thing is this Forge came down. And that is interesting, because while you get the +1 attack, it's not going to be... Well, I personally think getting the 2 additional gateways and a Forge would be better. But SaSe saving up a lot of money, and I'm interested to see where that's going to go. Oh, there we go. There's the 3rd gateway. I panicked for a moment there. But yeah, Hatchery is on its way down. Things looking pretty normal for Tefel. This is relatively normal timing of it. The Mothership Protocol is going to be very infuriating, but a single Queen coming down. Creep spreading just so it's got a getaway. The Mothership Core won't kill the Hatcheries. Can focus down this queen though pretty easily because the queen was slightly hurt. So the queen will lose this fight, the second queen will get forced to pull. And with that, Tefel able to save obviously the first queen, but the mothership core backing away won't get taken out. No energy for a transfuse yet, but that's not too much of a hassle. Now, in terms of proxy pylon, we've got a probe down here. We've also got a ZvP making its way forward, but the proxy has not yet been placed by SaSe. Rotron is coming down though, and this is quite a few Zerglings. Speed only half done. So these speedlings or Zerglings are just there to try and find any pylons, make sure that any push doesn't really go down nice. Ooh, Twilight Council plus 2 more gateways. This could be a blink play. That's the first big thing to be taking a look at. Blink is a viable option now. It could also just be the Twilight Council for the +2, and we're going to go for a big +2 move out. But yeah, it could be +2 with Blink +2. That's viable. Anyway, couple of Zerglings called by Force Field, really nicely done there. Mothership Core going to be forcing back the rest of the Lings, everything looking fairly okay for the time being. There's +1 done. Are we going to see +2 get started? There we go. Are we going to see Blink as well? That's next thing to keep an eye out for. There is enough money for it. There's also enough money for charge. These 3 additional gateways will take SaSe up to 6 gates. 6 gates is nice production. Ooh, he's getting 7 gates now, so going to be ramping that up a bit more. Meanwhile though, Tefel, he's getting down the Hydra Den. So since Tefel hasn't seen a robotics facility, there's obviously no chance of there being any Colossi, and with no Colossi, then that means that the Hydras are going to be strong. A Hydra heavy composition, really solid. It's actually going to be the Templar Archives. Really cool seeing a Templar Archives come down. Could just be for a little bit of additional splash damage in the form of getting Storm down. Could also be for a very big mid-game push of of Archon, Zealot, and just general gateway units. But if it's going to be Archon, Zealot, we'd probably expect to see charge coming down. +2 though is still going to be solid. There is a small move out, the proxy pylon in a good spot. There is one back here, more Zealots have been walked in, and another one coming down even more forward. So Tefel does have to be careful, because in terms of army down on the ground at the moment, there's not much, but 7 Hydralisks are about to pop out. This is what's going to be really critical. Can these Hydras hold off these Zealots? Because if they can, that's going to be great, but there's a lot of Zealots here, and if the natural falls, that's going to be big problems for Tefel. The Hydras coming through the roaches are trying to deal some good damage, but with Zerglings streaming in, well, exactly, and the roaches really doing quite a nice bit of damage. Certainly forcing time there for Tefel, allowing him to get these Hydras and roaches up, but the Hydras getting so much damage in this push, not really materializing into the damage that really SaSe would have wanted it to do. And Tefel now looking really strong. He's able to push through this. The Stalker count is still alright, but the next wave of Warpits are already there. And with Blink only half done, the Hydralisks just melting through the speeding's the right choice in this situation, and Tefel just able to push back this force and really quite simply take it out. The proxy pylon, once that one goes down at the front, obviously there is the second, but the speedlings are going to see the warp in, and so we'll know that that is there. But the number of units here just isn't enough. Lots more speedlings on their way out, lots more Hydralisks. Ling Hydra against this is so effective because there is not many Zealots in the composition, and that's going to cause problems here for SaSe, whose Blink also is still a long way away from being done. The Zealots do need to get taken out because they get in range of the Hyds, they deal good damage, but the Stalkers now just getting surrounded by the Zerglings. The Hydralisks shuffling over, they don't have speed, but the Stalkers all get taken out very, very quickly, and Blink is going to kick in just a couple of seconds after all the Stalkers died. That's very infuriating. Really, Tefel, in terms of losses, he's lost 22 drones, so he did pull a lot to defend that. But remember, he's now still on 3 hatches. He can inject happily. He's got a sizable army, and he's held off a big push from SaSe. SaSe doesn't have a third. The Overlord is there keeping an eye on that. SaSe also has a ninja to third base somewhere, hidden it off to the side. So nothing too much to be concerned about for the time being. But yeah, I say moving forward with the infestation pit, and they're the hive on the way after that. Something to be concerned about for SaSe. He's got to try and take a third or tech. Currently, he's sitting in a situation where actually he's not achieving very much at all. He's got some Blink Stalkers, but that is it. There's not much else coming out afterwards, and that's going to hurt him. The fact that he doesn't have any more in terms of stuff to do is going to just be so difficult. So, anyway, we do for the moment have the Stalkers, of course, just poking forward, coming with the probe. A lot more on the army forward there too, but look at the production now for Tefel. He's just getting so much out. The proxy pylon is not back down yet. That's one thing that Tefel wants to try and deny if at all possible. He's getting out a lot more units. He's spreading his units as well. is really smart. He could also look for a flank from behind because there's only the one sentry and Guardian Shield already gone down. A couple of Zerglings coming from the back to saying, okay, what have you got? That proxy pylon, not quite seen by Tefel, so he can't try and take that out as of yet, but now he should be able to see it. Needs to try and take that out if he can. Will move forward. Should be able to focus it down before the Warpins go. Does get it. Cancel the Warp into those Stalkers. Lovely timing there. And now the Blink Michael has to be absolutely perfect from SaSe, but I don't think it's going to be because there's just so much stuff here. The Tefel pushing forward. He's ahead in the worker count, and he's just crushed another force. In terms of resources lost, Tefel's lost just shy of 2,000 less resources, and the third base has not yet been taken by SaSe. He's going to go and try and do that now, taking out this Overlord, but no, SaSe, he's still got the Templar Archives, but he hasn't produced anything from it. He's got no robotic facility until the one he's just started. That means no Colossi. He doesn't have Storm, so he could get Archons, but that's really it. He doesn't have a way to effectively deal with the Hydralisks. That's what's causing him hurt. And with the Hive already finished, this is going to be some really nice timings coming down from Tefel. One thing Tefel neglecting though is of course upgrades. He does not have an evolution chamber on the map. He's got no upgrades yet apart from the muscular augments, but he does have his first Evo about to finish up. That gives SaSe one saving grace. He's got +2 attack, but there is a good army here, but the army of Stalkers is actually looking pretty solid too. About half that though the size of Tefel's force at the moment, and while the Blink Michael is good, Tefel pushing forward. He's going on the offensive, taking out a lot of these Stalkers now, even with the increased damage. The Hydralisk is at the back, just able to deal so high DPS. And this is where SaSe starts running into problems yet again, gets forced down, and that means a 2-0 for Tefel. Congratulations to him, great play there, and really, really well done, deserving winner of the series. So if you're on my YouTube, like the video, leave a cool comment and subscribe. If you're on Twitch, make sure that you follow this channel. Lots of cool action comes up on this, as anyone will tell you. And thank you for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow for yet another new cast.